Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the COP update for this Monday, the 10th of January, if I have it correct. I'm Gav, as always, and today we're going to go through any news we know from Liverpool Football Club, some transfer stuff, some off the field stuff that hasn't been nice over the last 24 hours, and we're just going to have a chat around them over the next half an hour. Also, if you're here and you're watching, you're more than welcome. Hit the like button if you can. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. And if you can share as well, absolutely share. But most importantly, get your comments into the live chat as we go along. Good bit to talk about today. We're going to do something every Monday, Monday Memories. So this was brought to us by Keane in our YouTube comments, and he asked, could we look back at certain players, certain matches, certain things once a week on this show? So yeah, well, that's what we're going to do. So today it's all about volleys. Best Liverpool volleys. Now, the thing is, throw them in near the end. If you do throw them in now, I'll try save them for near the end and read them all out. But it all depends on what you regard as a volley. Full on the volley, bounces and you hit it, half volley, whatever you want. Throw them in. I'm sure we can have a row about them between me and the chat and yourself. If you throw one in, that's contentious. But they must be Liverpool volleys. Okay. Quite a bit to get through today, so bear with me. There's a few bits that have come off the back of yesterday, but I want to start with Brighton and Hove Albion. So nice bit of news today from Brighton and Hove Albion. Everyone is well aware of the Hillsborough law that is being pushed at the moment, and you know most if not all Liverpool fans are behind this, and you can read up exactly what it's about. But a lot of people are backing the Hillsborough law. Okay, Brighton and Hove Albion today have come out with a statement, and they said the clubs stand. I'm trying to just get this up on my screen. Just give me 1 second. Yeah, the club stand solidarity with all the families who lost their loved ones at Hillsborough or as a result of the tragic events. Brighton and Hove Albion are proud to add their support to the campaign to launch a Hillsborough law to provide transparency to bereaved families and rebalance the scales of justice in the UK. Fair play to Brighton and Hove Albion. I think they might be the first club to come out alongside Liverpool to officially put themselves behind this. So I just wanted to start the show on that nice note that Brighton and Hove Albion have come out and publicly backed the call for the Hillsborough law. Let me see. Few in there in the volleys already. I'll try save them as much as we can. Red Steve reckons I have the heating turned off again today. Listen, sometimes I wear a jumper, sometimes I don't, but you're absolutely obsessed. But I like it. But look, back to Brighton. Absolutely fair play to them. And, you know, for a club to come out and officially back this alongside Liverpool Football Club is absolutely huge. Bonkers said halftime Senegal 0, Zimbabwe 0 in the AFCON, which is already a brilliant tournament. If anyone is not, if anyone's not watched it so far, get on it. It's absolutely great. Brian Murphy says classy stuff from Brighton. It absolutely is, and you can see it's a big step from Brighton to do this, and hopefully, that starts the ball rolling on other clubs coming on board and backing this, which I think is this isn't about. Well, it's called the Hillsborough law, but this is about everyone, being able to get information and not have to wait 30 odd years for stuff to come out, and institutions being more open with regards to evidence and stuff like that. So it's a really good thing that Brighton have done. On a slightly tied into this a little bit, but a slightly more sour note, the behaviour of a video went around yesterday of a small few Shrewsbury fans in around the city of Liverpool yesterday with a certain chant that I'm not going to repeat. But Shrewsbury have come out strongly against this. They've come out strongly. The Shrewsbury Town supporters liaison officers have come out and said these are not Shrewsbury fans or football fans. They may watch us play, but they are in no way welcome at our club. We stand together with Liverpool and the football world for the 97. And you know what? That's absolutely brilliant from them. And Shrewsbury themselves have backed that up with a statement, and they've said Shrewsbury Town Football Club is disgusted and appalled to see and hear the reports on social media about the vile and offensive chanting and behaviour of a very small minority of our supporters, in inverted commas, yesterday. These people do not represent their club in any way, shape or form, and we are liaising with West Mercia Police to try and identify those responsible, who will in turn liaise with Merseyside Police. If any supporters have any information that might assist us in identifying those responsible, they can contact the club confidentially, and we will use the information as part of our investigations with the police authorities. A great response, I have to say, from a Shrewsbury player yesterday. One that I've seen. There may be more. I apologise if there is more, but one that I've definitely seen. And the supporters liaison officers there at Shrewsbury and the club themselves. It's a brilliant response from them. Against, you can't tarnish all Shrewsbury fans that were at that game yesterday. You just can't. But the small minority that acted in that way, particularly before the game with that video, you know, if they can be identified and stuff like that, fair play. But to see a supporter liaison officers and the club themselves come out and absolutely, hammer the people that were involved in this, and we'll go out of our way to look for these people and identify them, I think is a huge thing. I'm trying to save all these volleys. There is a couple of them coming in. Gav's fleece is back, says Garrett McDonald. All is well in the world again. Yeah, listen, it's just the fleece. Like, it's just sometimes I have them on, sometimes I don't. Like, it's amazing. I'll have to start fucking organising a wardrobe for this show at this stage. But look, that's a really good response from Shrewsbury and their liaison officers and stuff like that. So I wanted to throw that out there as well, along with the good thing that you've seen from Brighton as well. Player was a little bit of stuff. Thiago, the rumour went around the other day that Thiago could be out for the season, could be out till April, could be out till March. There was a lot of stuff that went around. Klopp kind of cleared that up, and he said, look, he's not going to be out for that long, or that amount of time that people think. But it does look like he has a hip injury. And the word coming out is he's starting rehab. This is from Quiva O'Neill. Thiago is starting rehab on his hip injury on Monday. Jurgen Klopp has said the midfielder's injury is not long-term, amid rumours suggesting he was out for the season. So he is gone into rehab for a hip injury. Hip injuries can be sometimes troublesome, so we're going to have to probably wait. I would say you're probably looking at the end of January before you get an update on that, and hopefully it's a good update. But it's a blow for Liverpool. It's a real blow for them. We're missing lads from the AFCON. There's all the COVID stuff going on, which I'm going to get onto in a minute. And now you have a player that, he's integral for us when he plays. We're in such good form when he plays. But then again, he's injured. What can you do? We're just going to have to get through. I think January is going to be a very, very hard month for Liverpool, with everything thrown in together. So it looks like Thiago will be out. I don't know. Could it be 4 or 6 weeks? We just don't know. The rehab could take 10 days, and he could be back in 2 weeks. We simply don't know. So we have to wait and see on that. But that's the latest on it. Klopp has quashed rumours that he could be out till April, or even longer than that. March, April, I think, was the first rumour, and then the second rumour was the end of the season. Klopp has said no. So there you go. Red Steve says, you were the only one not in grey last night, Gav. Did you not get the memo? No, I don't. We don't do memos, but we might have to consider some sort of a uniform, maybe. Should we get a uniform where we all have to wear the same thing? Let me know. That'd be fun if you could all design the uniform and we could all wear it. But key to do it. Kev, I reckon, to do it. Shawnee, if it's not looking really well, Shawnee won't. It's as simple as that. But that's Thiago, and look, we're just going to have to wait and see. And I understand where fans get nervous, because Liverpool updating you on injuries aren't the best. They let you know what's wrong with them, but they never let you know how long it'll be. So we're just going to have to wait. We're just going to have to wait and see. Brian Murphy says, cue the February 1st announcement that Thiago's injury is worse than expected. Yeah, don't do that to us. Don't do that to us, please. But look, let's just wait and see if there's any more updates on Thiago over the next couple of days or the next week or so. Don't worry about it. We'll have it and we'll give you the update as we go at lunchtime one of the days. Why did you go on Lee Gunner's channel? Says Sydney. Guy is a complete tool. He's not. Sydney. He's not. The one thing I'd say about Lee is that he's very, very strong opinions on Arsenal. He's very, very strong opinions on Liverpool and other clubs. But you can talk to him. So I went on his channel last, I want to say Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday after the game was called off, the game that was due to be played against Arsenal. I went on. I was going on for 10 minutes. I think we ended up nearly an hour on, or 40 minutes or so. And it was a great chat. And the thing about Lee is that he will throw stuff out there and he will interact with his chat and stuff like that. And I went on and I gave my side of the story, and he actually took it and went, yeah, okay, that's fair enough. And we had a good chat around it, and then we had a good chat about Arsenal, because that's what happens with me and Lee. But no, Lee will throw stuff out there, but the one thing I will say from him is that he will listen to other people's opinion and take them, and I think he did on that day. Aidan reckons I definitely have a school toy with an elastic band on it. No, not that bad. Jesus Christ, that's primary school stuff. But no, look, I'm not. The uniform could be an idea. Let's see where it goes. Wear Trippers t-shirts. Plug yourselves, says Red Steve. Well, yeah, we could do that. On our site, we've some good designs as well. So if you're on lfcdt.com, you'll check out all the designs there. And we're going to try to get some more out in the next while. It's just been mad over Christmas. Villa are looking to sign Basuma. Yeah, that rumour's going around. That rumour is definitely going around. Newcastle looking at Chris Wood, which is a weird one, but Newcastle might be just trying to hamstring the people around them, the clubs around them, to try to stay up. They went out with a cup, of course, against Cambridge, and then we had to look at the worst post-match celebration you've ever seen from the Cambridge players. But look, there's going to be moves. There's loads of names out there at the moment. I'll get on to one or two now in a second, but the Suma one is impressive. I think Newcastle have done, or Villa have done Coutinho. They're looking at Basuma, and they're looking at Luca Dean from Everton as well, who's openly told Rafa Benitez in the club that he wants to go, probably because of the fact he's not allowed past the halfway line under Rafa. But listen, it's the 10th of January. There's 3 weeks left in this window, and there's going to be loads of names thrown out there, and we could be sitting here in 21 days and saying we're not signing anyone. That's the way it is, but I'd hope he would. Patrick Flannery says Newcastle looking at Origi too, apparently. If they're looking at Origi, that's huge for me, because I don't think we let Origi go without signing somebody. So we'll have to wait and see. Loris Karius, who was rumoured to be in the Liverpool starting lineup yesterday when the supposed lineups were going around, or rumoured lineups were going around, he obviously wasn't. But John Achterberg has been quoted on him today. I think it was a article with James Pearce. Now, Loris Karius has been loaned out a couple of times by Liverpool. I think he might be out of contract at the end of this season. And John Achterberg has said it's down to him, his agent, and the club to try find a solution. Hopefully, there will be one this month. It doesn't help anyone to sit for another 6 months without the feeling that you are fighting, that you're really fighting for something. So what Achterberg is actually saying there is that, look, he's not going to play for Liverpool. He's not going to be given a new deal. Alisson is in front of him, Kelleher's in front of him, Adrian's probably in front of him, and the young lad Petaluga, he's probably in front of him as well. So Loris Karius will probably be a 6 month loan. Then he's out of contract, and I think he's out of contract, and then you will see him leave Liverpool. So, but hopefully something happens this month where he might even write off his contract and just say, look, you're free to go, and that'll be that. Let me see. There was a couple there saying 21 days me bollocks. James Kelly says 21 days me bollocks. I'm telling you, now we're signing nobody. Yeah, we could be. We absolutely could be. But I'm not here to tell you we are or we aren't. I'm just here to report on what stuff has come out, how tenuous or solid they are. Have a chat around them, and yeah, do something at lunchtime. But James, you the chances of you being right are quite high, I think. But if the Origi thing was to happen to Newcastle, I think it's one of it's one that could happen. Aidan says Basuma is going nowhere this window. Too much unknown in the background. Yeah, there's issues around that, but I'm sure any club looking to sign him will be asking about what's going on there, and will be getting some sort of assurances or know what way that thing is going with him. But we'll have to wait and see. We have a few decent keepers on loan as well, says James Kelly. Yeah, we do. But looking at just who's there at the moment, who's training every day in the AXA training centre, you would argue 3, if not 4 of them, will play before Karius would get a look in. So he probably is looking to get away. Just on the on Creevy and Kelleher, because I think it was in the same article. John Achterberg has asked about him, and there's a bit of stuff coming up now where, you know, even you have John Achterberg saying he's really good, he can play Premier League football, there's no doubt about that, and maybe at some stage you will want to go and look to do that. It's a tricky one for Liverpool, because I think he's a fabulous goalkeeper. I think his temperament, the way you can see he's learned so much under Alisson. It's going to be a hard balancing act now, because Alisson has signed a new long-term contract, and Creevy and Kelleher are looking at the international front as well, where he's currently behind Gavin Bazunu. He may need to look to leave and play football, but that might be one where Liverpool go, listen, we want to buy back on him. We want to buy back on him, because I think he's a brilliant prospect, and for his own career he might need to leave and go and find football. But I'd love him to stay. Emma says the pecking order for keepers is Alisson, Kelleher, Adrian, Petaluga. Is it Petaluga? I always say Petaluga. Milner, Caroline from the canteen, and then Karius. Yeah, it's just quite obvious that he won't play for Liverpool again. Man like Sean, he says, do you reckon there's a chance if teams come in for Origi, Liverpool don't sell late in the window knowing Sadio and Mo will be back and still not sign anyone? I think it'd be very, very risky, Shawnee. You have to keep your squad numbers up. You know, then you're talking about 23 as a squad number rather than 24. And Kev has said loads of times on our shows that, you know, it's something where we have a free space. We have a free space in the squad already, with Shaqiri leaving and not being replaced. So it'd be very, very strange for me. Patrick reckons to loan him out to a Premier League club like United did with Henderson. Yeah, I see that, but Creevy and Kelleher is probably looking, going, I can go out on loan and come back, but what's the chances of shifting Alisson? Unless something unreal happens with Alisson where he decides, look, I want to go. I want to go back and play in Brazil, or I want to try somewhere else, or I want to try Spain, or, you know, wherever it might be. But it would take exceptional circumstances for Creevy and Kelleher to be Liverpool's number one on merit, while Alisson Becker is there. So it's a difficult one. James Kelly says that Shay Given is saying that Kelleher needs a move too. City balance 2 sets of quality players we have to do that in order to compete. Keep Kelleher. Brilliant to have 2 quality keepers. Yeah, it absolutely is. But Kelleher's getting to a level, and he's at an age and a level where, you know, he's not going to sit there for another 3 or 4 years and be number 2. I don't think he is. I think he's more ambition than that. And the fact that he's one of the best goalkeepers in the world in front of him just makes it very difficult for him to get game time at Liverpool. So we'll have to wait and see. So Spanish press have come out with a few. Keith threw these at me earlier, so I said I'd throw them out there. They're a bit strange, but I said I'll throw it out there and I'll ask people what they think. So Nacional, the Spanish publication, have thrown 2 names out there and linked Liverpool with them. The first one is Jules Koundé, the centre back, who to me looks absolutely nailed on to go to Chelsea. I think there's a huge buyout on him. I think it might be somewhere around 80 million euros. But his name's being linked with Liverpool, and it's really, really strange. I don't know why it would be. I think it's just a bit of laziness going on there from Nacional, because we have Van Dijk, we have Matip, we have Kanate, we have Gomez. Now, there's been a little bit around Gomez with, is he getting the time? Is he going to get the game time? You know, he hasn't even been thrown into games to recover and, you know, get minutes in him, which is a bit weird. I was surprised he didn't start yesterday. Now, he may have an injury that I don't know about, but I was surprised that he didn't start yesterday. But look, Jules Koundé, I think, you know, has been linked heavily with Chelsea in the last 6 to 12 months, and I'd be very surprised if he's not a Chelsea player come the summer. just going on the age of Thiago Silva, and the doubts over the futures of Azpilicueta, Rudiger and Christensen, all who look like they're out of contract, I think. All look like they're throwing themselves at certain European clubs. I know Rudiger's being heavily linked with Real Madrid, and they kind of quashed that. Bayern Munich have been mentioned. Juventus have been mentioned. So does Barcelona have been mentioned, who are still have no money, but they're telling you they're back in the market. So it's a strange one, the Jules Koundé, but we'll see where it goes. David Lennon says, why do Spanish clubs put massive buyout clause on players? It's the law, Dave. You have to have a buyout clause in your contract as a player in Spain. That's just the way it is. It's the law. So clubs will go in and put massive amount. And if you remember right, 220 million was on Neymar, and he bought out his own contract with the help of other people. And now when players go in, it's 500 million and 1 billion. They're not completely unrealistic, but it's a balancing act of protecting the club and also giving the player the chance to buy out his contract if he wants to. But the money is crazy. When you see 500 million, you know the player's not looking to leave. He's quite happy with what he has. Kev says, but Koundé has Chelsea written all over him with the players going out of contract. I fully agree. And HM says, in reply to David Lennon, he says, because it's illegal not to have a buyout clause in the league's players' contract, they make them unrealistic to abide by the law. Exactly. If you see one that's like 50 or 60, you know, a player signing something, but he wants, if a better move comes, good enough. But when the likes of Barcelona and Real Madrid do, it's £1 billion. And the Neymar one will always be the one that lit the touch paper in this era for those buyout clauses. Glenn Parsons says Rudiger going to Madrid on a free. Koundé will go to Chelsea. Real Madrid kind of rubbish that. So it's a weird one, but I just don't see where the name where Koundé is coming from. Kev says Gavi is the one we've been linked with a £43 million buyout. That's the second name in Nacional that's been linked with Liverpool. He apparently was being offered a 5-year deal by Barcelona with a €500 million euro buyout. That if it's a £43 million buyout, that's clearly one that hasn't been signed. But if we're being linked, but if there isn't a queue around the corner to pay that buyout, I'd be very surprised, which would make you think that he will sign the deal at Barcelona, because what a player he is. What a player he is. Nullux 2 says Dele Alli will be a cracking signing for Liverpool. Lost his way badly at Spurs, and you know, lost it under Mourinho, didn't get it back under Espirito Santo. He's getting games here and there with Conte, but I think at the end of the season you'll see exactly what Conte thinks of him. And you know, I think Dele Alli might be one that'll be out the door at Spurs. I think, because I think Conte's going to look to spend a lot of money and completely revamp that squad, and I think getting fourth would be absolutely huge for them. But having turned down that job in the summer, he must have some assurances regardless. Gavi is nothing like a Klopp midfielder, says Brian Murphy. 17-year-old Gavi, says Emma Kavanagh, played 16 times already this season. He's 17. Like, you bring him in, Klopp can make him whatever he wants to be. Whatever he wants to be. I think he would be perfect in the role that Thiago plays now, where he controls and he's just so much vision. Passio says, I think Gavi's age is just looking for Liverpool's name for negotiation. Yes, that absolutely is. I think you're right in that, because trust me, if 43 million is realistically on the table, I think there could be 30 clubs willing to pay that. You know what I mean? Genuinely. The wages could be another issue, but Gavi is one that's being linked from in Nacional with Liverpool. And we'll have to wait and see. I genuinely think he signs a deal at Barca, because just because the amount of clubs that will be interested in him, if that was realistic, that buyout, and he would realistically leave Barcelona. The fact that it's fairly quiet on him would tell me that it is, as Passio said, it's a negotiating tactic, and he'll end up signing. Kat says we take Son from Spurs. What a player! Yeah, he's a brilliant player as well. But I think Conte will build around him and Kane, as they should. He's 29 going 30 now, Son. And I'd take him all day, but you know how Liverpool go on with regards to players of a certain age. Azpilicueta as cover for Trent, says Dynamo Kev. I think the Azpilicueta one might get done. I think the Rudiger one might be gone too far down the line, and you don't know with Christensen. You just don't. So it's one of those. Who better to learn the Thiago role off than Thiago himself? Join us, Gavi, says, hey, Jam. He's a brilliant player. Him and Pedri, they're absolutely unbelievable at Barcelona for me. Gary McDonald says he's mustard. Red Steve says Dele Alli is 25 and done in. He's just lost his way. He's had some injuries. He's lost his way. I think a move would be good for Dele Alli, but he'd have to move somewhere where he knows he's going to play, and he's going to play in the position where he's best at, and that's just behind, just off a striker. In probably a 4-2-3-1. That's his best position. So that's how it goes. Carl Robinson would go for Rafinha off Leeds. 40 million for Joe Gomez would be fair, says own book. Listen, there's been talk around Joe Gomez. Real Madrid meant to be monitoring the situation, but nothing concrete on it. And as I said on this show, we're not here to tell you this is happening. We're not here to tell you something isn't happening. We just throw it out there, see what you think, give our opinion, and we move on to the next day. And at the moment, the lack or the amount of concrete or solid links with Liverpool for players or Liverpool players moving away is literally minimal. There's nothing really out there at the moment, so we'll have to wait and see. 140 people watching, 45 likes. Smash that like button if you can. Subscribe if you haven't already, and if you can share, absolutely share across your social media as well. That's about it. That's all really the news for today. Get on the AFCON though. It's been brilliant so far, and it's so good to watch. They're just so carefree in the football they play, and it's a bit madness at times, but genuinely, like, you've loads of football there to watch throughout the month of January. And go and check it out because it's absolutely brilliant. Pasio says that Ben White is fetching 50 million, then Gomez is worth more. I don't think he's worth 50 million, and Joe Gomez hasn't played an awful lot of football. We'll have to wait and see. Let me see. Arsenal for Life says we want revenge for how many times you've humiliated us. Yeah, but Kev comes back and says you'll have to be more specific. There's been so many. Look, it's going to be a good game, unfortunately. I don't know what. I think Liverpool will put out a strong side because of just the issues they've had over the last week. And you've seen Klopp come out and say, we had a lot of positives. We done what we were told. Came back a lot of false positives and stuff like that. And but it's still been a tough week. Trent has tested positive, and there's been a bit of backlash over that as well. But from what I can make out, the club were in talks with the EFL and whoever else they need to be in talks with, and the decision was made, and Arsenal. So it's look, there's a lot going on online, but at the end of the day, the process was followed, and that's what the decision that was came to. There's a lot over Emma Kavanagh saying about Everton and Leicester postponed. There was an interesting one last night where Leicester said he had 17 players out due to COVID illness and injury, and when they listed all the players, there wasn't one that was COVID. You could probably say the centre half who said was unavailable. I can't think of his name now, but other than that, it was like a lot of injuries. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know whether now it's just a case of if you have X amount of players out for whatever reason and there's one or two COVID in there, the game's called off. I just don't know. But we have to wait and see. But as I've said, going back a month ago, this is all going to go absolutely pear-shaped, and it is, because we still don't know what's going on. Even when you get some transparency from clubs, like Leicester being transparent there, but it doesn't look great. And Liverpool and others, you're still getting people having a go. And then when you have people not giving you information, you're definitely getting people having a go. So it's one of those. Still 0-0, Senegal and Zimbabwe. I don't know what's left on that, but you let us know. Right, let me see. Some volleys. Okay. Emma Kavanagh, the best Liverpool volley wasn't a goal. Suarez smashing the post versus Arsenal in the 5-0 game. Yeah, you'd nearly consider it a goal. It was that good. Best volley was easily Gerrard versus West Ham 2006 FA Cup final. Pending volley criteria check, says Brian. Yeah, I'll give you that. It's bouncing in the air. He's hit it on the volley. I'm good. Torres at home to Blackburn, Van Basten-esque. Yeah, 08-09. Afternoon Gav, Trent's volley against Newcastle was brilliant on the half volley. That's his first goal for Liverpool, isn't it? I think right. Trent gets one where he nips in. Or maybe that wasn't. you'll have to tell me again. I could be confused there. Didi Haman's volley against Portsmouth. Yeah, it's a cracker. He also gets a good one away at City in the early days of the Etihad, when it was called whatever the stadium was called at the time. I like to throw Robbie Fowler's in there against Villa in the 96 FA Cup semi-final at Old Trafford, where he hits one. No backlift, left foot, and off the post. Fowler scored some brilliant ones. He scores one away at West Ham, where his body is shaped weird, and he just catches it and smashes it in the far corner, and he scores a brilliant one away in one of his last games, or maybe his last game for Liverpool, away at Filbert Street, Leicester. He gets 3, and his third one is a right foot volley from, I think, a Smith's or cutback. He lifts it up in the air and he just smashes it with his right foot. So they're the ones that come in. Torres versus Chelsea on the turn, over his shoulder, belter. Trying to think of that. Against Chelsea. You're not thinking Blackburn, Dynamo Kev. Gerrard against Villa is thrown in there from Conroy. Raul Morales against Wolves is a cracker from Cameron. That's a cracker. He hits it and it goes miles in the air and comes down into the top corner. It was absolutely brilliant, that one was. Owen Buck says he hit a wonder volley out the back a few weeks ago. Lost the football though. Still hasn't come back to football, fair enough. If you have any more volleys, throw them in there. Kovacic's last week. Well, that's Liverpool related, but we're looking for Liverpool ones. Fowler against Bramberg and flicks over the defender's head and smashes it in on the volley. Yeah, that's good. Crouch had a few bicycle kicks. He does one at home to Bolton in the league, and one at home to, it's a Turkish side. I think it's Galatasaray. And you see Luis Garcia with his hands on his head after. Bobby against Stoke, that's right, 1-0 down, we win that 2-1, don't we? Where it drops and he absolutely bashes it. Robbie Keane gets a great one away at Arsenal, if you remember, where it comes over his shoulder and he smashes it in. Gerrard versus against United, leaving Barthez flailing. Oh, I don't think that goes down as a volley. Deep Pierce, I don't think that goes down as a volley. He definitely takes a touch to... No, I wouldn't give that as a volley. Salah versus Stoke, that's the one at the back post where he smashes in. Suarez again. Oh, hold on, yeah, Deep Pierce has done it. The Suarez one at home to Norwich when we beat them 5-1. I think it's 5-1. Suarez gets 4, but the one where he flicks it over Leroy Fair and he hits her on the half volley and over in the far corner. It's one of the most ridiculous. Performances I've ever seen from a footballer. Fowler or Crouch scored a Van Basten type volley one of the years. I'm fairly sure it wasn't for us though. No, that's Stoke against Chelsea, if I remember right. It's either Stoke against Chelsea or City. It's City, and it just pops up. He takes a touch to pop it in the air and smashes it from about 25-30 yards. Pennant against Chelsea on Anfield is a great one. Hits the underside of the bar, doesn't it, and comes down. That was a good one. Rush against Man United at 93 at Anfield. Is that the one where he swivels left foot and puts it in? Poor John Ruddy's got done by Suarez so many times. He has. Reese versus United 0-1. That's not a volley. That's the one where it's set for a free kick and he smashes it in. Shaqiri against Fulham is a nice control finish with his left foot at the cop end. Harry Kewell scored a peach against Spurs volley. That's the back post. That's a back post volley, if I remember right, at the cop end. Was at the Norwich game. Match of the day didn't even have time to show all our chances from that night. Suarez also volleyed one in from the halfway line against Norwich. No, that's not a volley. No. It drops down and he just hit. It's on the ground when he hits it. It's definitely on the ground. Any Terry McDermott volley, the one against Spurs is the famous one, isn't it? Where again he pops it up. A bit similar to Crouch against City. That one, where he pops it up and smashes it to the far corner. Pennant one is a shout. I'm trying to think of any more. Smitzer gets a last minute winner at Anfield, the Anfield Road end against Chelsea in, I want to say, around 2003, I think. Mellor against Arsenal, that's a good one. Harry Kewell gets absolutely smashed. But Yeah, that's a good one. One of the best volleys I've seen is Dele Alli away at Palace for Spurs. Since then, he's fallen off a cliff. There was a guy that scored for Fulham away at Palace. And I can't think of his name. And it's a fucking brilliant volley. It's a long ball down the right channel. He just runs onto it and absolutely harpoons it into the far corner. I can't think of his name. I can see his face, but I just can't think of his name. Does Gerrard count as a volley versus West Ham half volley? Yeah, it does. And I'd also, the one against Olympiacos, I would as well. Kite versus United, says Patrick Flannery. Is that the one where he's put through in the is it the FA Cup? No, it's a league game. They win it late, don't they? It's a flick on and he gets through there. Can we start again, please? I'm late, says the reclaimer. No, we can't. I have to go. We're past time. Owen against Arsenal, the FA Cup final, the first one. Yeah, drops down. I'll give you a volley for that. Absolutely. Reset against West Brom away. Yes, I'll give you that one as well. There's been so many good ones. And fair play, he's done well there. Still 0-0 in Senegal versus Zimbabwe. Kasami there, well done, D. Pearce. Kasami, it's a brilliant volley. If you look it up, Kasami versus, it's definitely Palace. For Fulham, it's a cracker. Shearer, some outrageous volleys in his time. He hits one against Everton where he smashes it so hard. But that was Shearer. He hit everything hard at goal. He absolutely. He just minced everything at the goal, and a lot of them went in. Van Persie scored a mental volley from a Rooney ball over the top. The technique was insane. Yeah, I vaguely remember that. The Canios one, if we're going away with Liverpool, the Canio against, I think it's Wimbledon, at Upton Park, this kind of scissor kick one. Luis Garcia versus Chelsea at Old Trafford. Yeah, I'll give you that. It's bouncing. Yeah, give you that one as well. Dalglish to win the league at Chelsea. Yes. Yeah, that gets in there. Rooney versus Newcastle is a really good one. Cisse against West Ham in the FA Cup final 2006. Yeah, give you that one as well. Van Persie was against Charlton, says Unreal. Not a volley, but the Sturridge chip versus West Brom. Yeah, throw it in there, Patrick Flannery. It's a cracker. But look, we could be going all day here. But look, that's your Liverpool news for today. We've covered Brighton being sound, Shrewsbury, the club and the liaison officers being sound. Thiago is in rehab, but not as bad as people think. Karius could possibly leave the club this month. Kevin Kelleher, it's the stars continuing to rise. Kunde, don't see it happening. Gavi, I'd love it to happen, but I think it's probably just a technique to get a better contract out of Barcelona. And you've all come up trumps with some volleys. I'll be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. with more Liverpool news. I might bring something along like that volley stuff as well, so we can have a little chat about it. And I hope you've enjoyed the show. We should have something out later on tonight. We're just waiting to confirm. But we'll definitely be back here at 2 o'clock tomorrow. Keep you informed. Don't forget to hit the like button on the way out. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And if you want to hit the share button and let people know about this, absolutely do it. We're available on all social media as the LFC Daytrippers and lfcdt.com for any shows or merch or whatever you want to look at. Go there and check it out. Talk to you in a bit. Over now.